you are keeping, and at the same time the land size, because one youth outside there could be interested to also start up. How can you advise such a person also?
We have 200 by 200 meters of the land. We have 4 buildings. One building is 36 meters by 8, and then the other one are 21 by 8. So it does not matter. You can be a big farmer, you can be a small farmer, and you can still have the same benefit. So the land size cannot be, it can be big, can be small. It depends on what is your financial ability to be able to build a bigger one.
What is needed really to start up a poultry farm?
A poultry farm, the most important basic thing you need a shelter. If you can build a shelter, the shelter can cost between, the small shelter can cost between $2,000, and the biggest one can go beyond that, up to $100,000. So $1,000 can build for you a small shelter, and you can be able to raise 100 chickens a month, and that could be enough for you if you want a small scale. If you want a big scale, then you can go for about 300 to 400,000.
For how long now have you managed to successfully run your poultry farm?
The concept we started like 4 years ago, and 2 years ago that's when we started building, and we tested the survivability of the chicken, the poultry farm. Then we brought in, we test them. Now we are in full production. We have a capacity of 10,000 birds, but we are producing 2,500 a month now.
What are some of the challenges have you so far encountered in these 4 years?
The main challenge is transportation costs, because we don't have the hatchery system in South Sudan. So we have to bring chicken from Uganda. Sometimes they die on the road. Normally between Numili and Juba is one of the biggest problem. So you can bring them from Kampala up to Numili. They will survive. As soon that you cross the border, they start dying, heat, bumpy roads. So these are the contribution factors that normally affects the transportation, and the feeds are another major issue that we face in poultry farm.
Now let's briefly also talk about the transportation challenges that you have so far mentioned. How has it really affected your business? Give us, for example, an example of it.
Last year we were transporting 5,000 birds. We lost about 3,000 of them. That was by road. Then what I decided, I said, okay, let's explore the transportation by the air. Now we normally bring our chicken using Kush Airline. It's still expensive, but they don't die. That is, and the cost of transportation is at least $3 to $5 per kilo. That is a big issue that is affecting the production, the chicken poultry industry in South Sudan. The bumpy road normally affect us, so the cost, and there's also extra costs like the handling fee in the airport, documentation in Juba here, Juba airport here, and then also the ministry documents. All these things add up to the cost. For the one that we're bringing tomorrow, it costs us $1,120. That is only transportation for about 2,500 day old chick.
Now you said the transportation is quite expensive. Could you give for us an estimate of, like, in a trip, how much are you likely to spend, let's say air?
For the air, if I'm bringing chicken from Kampala up to here, is $1,000 to $1,120.
Let's progress a little bit. Why is the establishment of, you earlier on mentioned there's need for the establishment of that union of poultry producers. Why do you think it is really necessary?
We have so many people in South Sudanese who are willing to actually venture into that business, and they find it hard to be able to get into the business of poultry. So the most important thing is collaboration, to find the better ways of actually reducing the cost, to lobby the government to help us actually establish hatcheries in South Sudan. We don't have a single hatchery in South Sudan. Even though you bring your hatchery here, you will not even find an egg. So the quality one. So, and it is hard to get even eggs from Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and everywhere. So if we could have government, if we could come together, then we can, put our hand together, be able even to develop the hatchery system through the government help, and we'll not be even going to Uganda and buy from there. We can get our day-old chicks here in Juba and then distribute them to all the 10 states, and it will reduce the cost in a huge way.
Okay, now government also come in and help someone with initiative like what you brought on the table to also make sure that the industry of that poultry thrive.
It is through the union. That's why we're looking for the union, be able to come together as South Sudanese and then say, okay, this is what we need the government to help us with. One of the main things, for example, the government can lobby to find some, farmers in other countries like Netherlands, Belgium, and Turkey, so that we could actually buy direct from them and bring them to South Sudan, especially the eggs, and then we come and hatch them in South Sudan. In Uganda, some people go to Turkey, they buy from Turkey, they bring eggs from Belgium, they bring egg from Kenya, they bring egg from Malawi. Even the person that we buy from now, the Kenchik, they don't have eggs in Uganda. They bring eggs from Kenya and Malawi. So if we could get eggs outside South Sudan, it will reduce actually the cost.
To someone who is interested to join this poultry business, where do you see really, if you were to give us a projection, where do you see the potential of this country in doing, poultry?
It won't take long, because for the poultry, for you to have a meat, a chicken, 1 kilo, only for a week, go and farm. You have to wait for 3 months before you harvest them. And sometimes if the rain does not rain properly, then you expect it to have next season. So poultry is one of the best business for young people that they can venture into it. And the most important thing is to make sure that we have the reduction in the cost of the feed.
And currently, the youth of this country, they are also crying because of job opportunities. And how can such initiative, help create for them jobs?
I would like us to have a union and then be able to knock at the doors and get a small loan for the small farmer, those who can raise 100 to 200, and be able to, and then if we have a union, the union can advocate for those stuff. So coming together as South Sudanese, be able to establish this industry, because we don't have industry, we don't have poultry industry yet. It needs to be established, and without the union, it cannot be established. So we need a union of the farmers, those who are willing and those who are in it, and then we can talk to the university, especially those faculties that are specializing in poultry and agriculture, and we could be able to talk to the Ministry of Livestock and Agriculture to be able to assist us in financing those initial costs that the private cannot be able to do. Like consultation, going to places like Belgium, Turkey, and then be able to find, the source of those stuff, be able to bring them to South Sudan, then establish the industry.
Let's also talked about the sustainability of the poultry farming. Is it really easy or difficult for someone to manage?
It is very easy. You don't need to go to school actually to start the poultry farm. I'm an accountant by profession, and I'm running a chicken farm. So just look at that. It's easy. And for a small room like what we have here, if you have your room at home and you have 2 rooms, you can use a small room like this for your chicken. You can have at least 50 chicken in this room. And if you, in 1 week, in 1 month, 4 weeks only, you can sell them into the market. So the only problem is having a capital, having the support base, and be able to produce them in South Sudan.
Now, producing chicken locally here, what kind of other competition or challenges are you facing?
Yes, we are facing challenging from the imports. There are a lot of cheap poultry imports from Uganda and from places like Brazil. So those imports that are very cheap. The difference is that because when they come to South Sudan, they come as as food, and when they are categorized as food, the tax rate is low. But when we bring the feed from Uganda, it is actually 20% tax. So you're looking at 20% versus a 5%. So whatever we do, we cannot compete with them because they are taxed at the lower rate and we are taxed at the higher rate. And for us, we will have taken an opportunity and say, raise them in Uganda and then just bring them to South Sudan. But that's not being patriotic. That's why we say we have to establish it in South Sudan, how hard it is. We have to make sure that we have our business in South Sudan because we aim to make sure that we upgrade South Sudanese from being a poor country to a country that actually is well established.
Now, since the establishment of your poultry farm, have you managed to catch up with some other businesses within here, despite all these competitions?
Yes, we are supplying one client now, and that client is called Gourmet Service Corporation Limited. It is a company that is providing food in the oil field area. So we are actually sending the shipment now to Dar Petroleum in Maluth. So that is one client, and we are producing actually basically for that client. So whatever we produce, we send it to them.
And what are some of your business projection in 5 years to come or 10 years to come?
Our projection is to actually become the main supplier of chicken poultry in South Sudan. And we are almost into that range. By next year, we may be supplying 10,000 a month. So the only thing that is holding us back is finding the client, the customers, because the cost of keeping the chicken when it is already ready to be slaughtered is very high because they eat. As I'm talking to you now, every day I'm spending 5 bags of chicken feed, like 250 kilograms they eat daily. So if you keep them for 10 days, that is a huge cost. Yes.
Now you talked of the feeding cost, you talked of high taxation, and you have that projection of supplying the whole country in 5 years' time. How are you going to do it?
So that is why I'm here today with you, so that we find a better way, talk to the government, be able to reduce the cost of chicken feeds, and also encourage our farmers, those who produce corn, you call it maize, so that we could have a local made chicken feed in South Sudan. That is another way of reducing the cost. If we have enough maize, then we can be able to actually reduce the cost. We don't have soybean, which is the main protein in the chicken feed. And if we could find people producing soybean in South Sudan, then we'll be able to actually, reduce the cost. So we are not in isolation, actually. When we thrive, the other business thrive, especially the agriculture sector. People are producing maize. And in my farm only, we are actually using more than 150 bags of maize monthly. And that is only for 2,500 chicken. What about if there are 10,000 chicken? That would be too much. Yes. So.
All right. Dear listener, if in case you have just joined us now, you are listening to the Sundown Show with me, Madrama James, and I'm blessed to be joined by Chol Clay, a poultry farmer who established his center at Mangala right here, and he's trying, of course, to take us through some of the challenges and projection of this particular business. Shortly, we shall also be giving you that chance on 0911-022-986-986 and 0913-986-986 if in case you have a question or comment. Now via our Facebook page, we have Wiendeng. He's saying, I really support that idea because sometimes if I moved around, I'm seeing people going to other countries to import chicken, and that alone annoys him. What's your reaction?
Actually with him, that is what annoyed me first. When I came here in 2015, everything was chicken from somewhere else. And I said, no, we can have chicken here. So chicken here is more healthy, and our motto is actually produce locally, eat locally, because you produce what you need to eat. You know, when you go to my farm, you know what I produce. You will see it. You will see all the ingredients that actually the intake that the chicken take. So we really we support that idea of us having our own stuff, and actually we reduce the dollar value, because you need dollar to go and buy from somebody else. But if we have everything in South Sudan, that issue of dollar will go down. All agricultural products, the dollar will go down. It will not be useful.
All right. Now let's also talk about there are some skeptical communities who think like chicken are always associated with some other chemicals. Now you are doing the businesses. How safe is this chicken meat?
My chicken, they eat the same food that you eat without even. Sometimes, if I say to you, I eat the maize, the chicken eat the maize. Soybean, when you take out the oil from the soybean, the remaining part is what we give to the chickens. So, and our chickens, because when you bring chicken from somewhere else, far away, you have to make sure that you preserve it. Most of the food that are actually packed, they have preservative. And those preservatives, they have side effect. But our chicken, nothing added into it. We slaughter it, we package it, we put in a freezer, you take it, tomorrow you eat it, next tomorrow you eat it, in a month, everything is gone. So, but if you're importing from something else, somewhere else, 3 months is on the road. Chicken cannot stay 3 months in the freezer and then without preservative. So that is a big issue. Even some food that are actually canned foods, they have preservative. And those preservatives are chemicals. So that is a problem. When people say, oh, chickens are this, our chickens are pure chickens. They are healthy. We are giving them what you grow in South Sudan or what you grow in Uganda. So if you're eating our chickens, it is the same food that you grow here in South Sudan that our chicken will be eating. And that's the same food that is grown in Uganda that our chicken will be eating. So you really know what you're eating.
All right. Dear listener, it's now high time for you to grab that cell phone and dial 0911-02298-698-6 if at all you have a question or comment to my guest. Fursa leka shan tasal manina tuwali ya salu diuf daifi dakili studio wa de chol kile gad ba afisu jidadata bezap fi mangala. Hindak swal wala talika leo by radio.
Madrama Jam.
Alul.
How are you doing?
I'm not complaining. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you for having me on the program.
Are you still in Boro? You came back?
I'm still enjoying my holiday in Jonglei State, Boro.
Enjoying Madingbor?
Yeah, it's very wonderful.
Yeah, what's your question to my guest?
Yeah, my question to your guest is very simple. You left your previous job as an accountant and decided to come to South Sudan, your home, and set up business, poultry farming. And how does this business benefit your fellow South Sudanese, how you put it? That's my question.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alul. Yes, you can, of course, respond to that question.
Thank you very much. I have a group of employees now. So I created employment to our people. In the farm, we have 5 people. We have a driver, and we have a lot of casual workers that whenever we're slaughtering, we hire them, and then they come and do the slaughtering and then cleaning and other stuff. So pretty much every month we employ more than 10 people, casual and people who are not casual, the permanent employee. So, and they're all South Sudanese.
All right. Another quick one. I read you.
Hello, Madrama.
Ben Clinton.
Evening, my brother.
Good evening.
Okay, I want to greet our guest inside the studio.
Thank you.
I have just question I want to ask him. Okay?
Go ahead.
I want to ask our guest inside.
That's Cholkile.
Okay. Now, you need to buy those chicken from here, then a live chicken from Juba, or you're bringing it from outside to come and grow it here in Juba here. That is why I want to know it first. Okay? And then number two, you have different chemicals that you need to use to prevent those chicken with it. Okay? Like medicine. Sometimes you have those sicknesses of chicken pox or what different sicknesses of what? Of chickens, okay? You used to bring medicine from outside to come and to treat those chicken with it. That is why I want to know also. Number three, also. Ita ga agder yani kam yani ita yani chicken data yani tabi yani zanna ban fi battery yani mon bi kaman mon bi produce some of eggs. What kaman in the plant eggs and chicken salad or whatever I'll give produce eggs then I'll give rubber for battery. Okay? That is why I want to
Mafi Mushkila, thank you so much, Ben Clinton here in Juba. First, he wants to know the origin of your chicken, whether they are locally produced here or you normally buy them from outside, then raise them in South Sudan. Then number two, how do you normally treat them? Medicine, what kind of medicine are you using? And lastly, Ben Clinton, one also to, you can respond to that two questions.
Thank you very much, Clinton. So for the chickens, we bring them from Uganda. And those chicken, we have all the documentation from the Ministry of Agriculture in Uganda. And we normally bring them from Kenchik, one of the largest producers in Uganda. We don't have a local hatchery here, and that's when I talk about the hatchery. If we have a hatchery system, we can have everything in South Sudan. Number two, those we know we have chicken diseases, and chickens, when we bring them here, they are vaccinated from those two major problems that they normally have. So when our chickens go to the environment, they are not affected because they have those stuff. And we normally have what we call biosecurity. So if you come to our chicken, you have to clean your hand, you have to disinfect your feet before you enter into the chicken farm. So we normally make sure that they are kept away from people who may be and even if you have your farm, you have to stay for 1 week without going to your farm before you come to my farm. So these are the priorities that we put into the farm, because somebody can do a contamination. And now in Mangala, we have our chickens everywhere that are actually we sold to the local community, and they are raising them actually, and they don't even have those disease because they are already been vaccinated. We don't treat them with medicine, because there's some medication that you don't need to use to treat the chicken with, especially antibiotic. We don't apply antibiotic to our chickens because antibiotics is transferable through the meat to human being. And when you have enough antibiotic in your body, especially penicillin, it becomes like your body is resistant to it. So we are very precaution, and because I'm producing what I eat and I care about my health, so I care about the health of our South Sudanese too. So that is the way I look into it.
All right. I'm quite sure, Ben Clinton, your questions has been answered right here, but still, let me give chance to this. All right, Manuel Panadol, you can still get back to us on 0911-022-986. If you have a question to that Chol Kile, who is a poultry farmer, you can do that. Otherwise, Lul, thank you. And then Bill Clinton as well, thank you for your question. De fursa aleg loinda kaswal ale Chol Kile junubi al sibu Amerika ujaini ukhamangad biraba jidadat bezaf fi Mangala. Nasma min debaru radio.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, you are connected to the new caller, Mr. Shore from University of Juba.
Welcome.
Yeah, so I thank your guest. I welcome your guest in the studio. So I have only 2 to 3 questions for him.
One.
So what is the difference of his chicks to the difference of his chicks and the local chicks? what is the difference? Do they have different or they are the same? So the second question is, so I heard before that you said is a former accountant. Let me say it like that. He was an accountant and then he left the job. So what is the impact of that accounting that you have done? Because accounting is also a business profession. What is the impact now in the business that you are doing? Did it have impacts or it has effects? Because some of us are studying accounting and now you left it, you went to another profession. So we want to know also, does it have impacts?
And the third one?
And we continue. Yeah. So the third point is that business profitable? Because a lot of South Sudanese can also copy from him. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Welcome, Cholkile.
Okay, the first question you asked about what is the difference between the local chicken and then the broilers.
The one you are...
Yeah, the one that we are rearing is broilers for meat. And scientifically, we have different kind of chicken breeds all over the world. And what we are actually having is what we call Rhode Island breed, that is American breed. It can survive in any condition, but the meat that we rear for it is soft meat. It's not like hard chicken meat that we chew. Sometimes you have to cook it for 2 hours. That's the difference between that meat that we keep and it. We have another chicken that we keep which is called broilers. Broilers, they have the same tendency, like it's a bit softer compared to the local chicken, but they can mix with the local chicken and become local. It doesn't matter. The only thing is that they are improved breed, and they're the one that actually, whenever you go everywhere in the world, that's the chicken that people are using. So that is a different. And I can take the local one and make it actually the hybrid one, but the local one will not be able to produce enough eggs. And if I feed them the way I'm feeding this, is still in the 4 weeks, it will still grow. Because they eat in the day, they eat in the night, they eat every time. And that is why they grow so quick. But our chickens, they go and find the food on their own. They are not eating. Regarding my accounting...
No, before you cross over to the second question, the American breed, like one, if you can give for us an estimate how the kg, is it 1 kg, 2 kg, 1?
If you let them stay for 6 months, they will go up to 3 kgs, 4 kgs.
3 kgs.
Because for us, it depends on the market. If somebody need 1 kg, I will give him 1 kg. If somebody say I need 3 kgs, I grow it up to 3 kgs. Because this chicken don't die. They can go until 2 years, 3 years until their life is spent. So it depends, because if they eat for a year, you're not going to make money. So, but for the layers, the layers can lay for 2 years, 3 years, and they're laying eggs. So that is a difference.
Now, how much is 1 kg and how much is 3 kg? If you have to sell it out.
For the 1 kg, it's about $6. For the 1.5 kg is about 7.5, and for about 2 kgs is about $12. But most of the people in the market, especially the restaurant, they need 1 kg. Why we're selling at around 6 is because of the cost of production. But for the Brazilian chicken, it's about 5. So we're actually different by $1. And that difference between what we are selling and what they're bringing in, that one stays for 3 months on the sea. Ours is like you get it yesterday, it's slaughtered yesterday or the day before yesterday. So that difference is the quality, and that's why ours is expensive. If you need quality, you come to us. If somebody need quantity, then they can go to those people.
In a month, how many chicken are you likely to sell out?
In a month, we sell about 2,300 chickens.
Okay. Now, over to the second question. Michael is a little bit reserved. As you studied, and why is that U-turn?
Okay. When people don't understand, accounting support the business. Any business that fail does not use the knowledge about accounting. Because if you're making a business and you don't understand the business itself, you don't understand what you're doing, then I am an accountant, and it helps me actually budget, make sure, analyze. So my data, I keep analyzing the data every single day. But if you come today and you don't have any accounting knowledge, you will never be prospering in your business. You have to actually hire an accountant to do the work. So accountant aid the business to prosperity. If you think that accountants are not important in South Sudan here, no, they're important.
All right. So, dear listener, let's first have our first commercial break of the show. When we come back now, we shall turn our focus to those who have taken their humble time to write to us via our Facebook page. And I will still give those questions to my guests right here after this break.
The Ministry of Health is conducting a commemoration of African Vaccination Week with a new vaccine introduction of pneumonia vaccine, targeting all children aged between 6 to 14 weeks. Take your child to the nearest vaccination center during the African Vaccination Week or Big Catch-up campaign.
Good morning, Mama Alice.
Good morning, Mama Ladu. Where are you coming from this morning?
I had taken Ladu for pneumonia vaccination at the health center to protect my child against pneumonia and meningitis. He was also vaccinated with other routine immunization vaccines at no cost. Is baby Alice already vaccinated?
Yes, she was vaccinated last month. Does she need to be vaccinated again?
Yes, she needs to be vaccinated with at least 3 doses at 6, 10 and 14 weeks to be fully vaccinated, immunized and protected against pneumonia.
Really? I just heard from afar that there will be a vaccination campaign during the African Vaccination Week, but I was not keen enough to get the details.
You know, pneumonia vaccine is effective in preventing pneumonia and deaths in infants and young children. This vaccine has just been introduced this year, 2025. A lot of children were not vaccinated. Some even travel without being vaccinated. I wouldn't want to see any child get pneumonia.
I didn't know that pneumonia is very serious, that it can cause meningitis and even death.
Yes. Pneumonia is a life-threatening disease caused by bacteria or viruses. The signs are cough, fever, chills, and shortness of breath, which may be accompanied by chest pain when breathing or coughing. Children who survive may experience long-term effects on lung function and increased risk of respiratory conditions like asthma.
Asthma or lung function complication? Oh, that sounds scary. How can I protect my child from this dangerous disease?
The only way for your child to be safe is when your child and all children in your neighborhood are vaccinated with pneumonia vaccine.
I will do that immediately. Where can I take my child for this vaccine? Hope it is not late.
No, you are not late. Pneumonia vaccine and all the other routine vaccines are available at all government health centers in your areas. Tell your neighbors with children between 6 to 14 weeks to be vaccinated.
I'm glad you told me. I will take my child immediately to the nearest health center for pneumonia vaccination.
Bring your child to the nearest health center and protect them from pneumonia and other vaccine-preventable diseases. This message is brought to you by the National Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and South Sudan Women in Medicine.
The Sundown. For the news, views, opinion, debates, and discussions. Listen to who is who talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Indeed, your eye on South Sudan. Welcome back from the commercial break. It's time now for me to have a look at some of the comment and questions you have raised via that's our Facebook page. Let me first start with Ustaz Tolfuk. He's watching us live from Juba right here. He wants you to educate him about the importance of that poultry industry and what are some of the challenges you are facing. Beside that, we have Dom Nico, who is also a poultry farmer. Do you normally import your chicken from Uganda or you hatch them here? And if so, what kind of a future are you seeing while continuing importing that chicken from Uganda as well? And then Majoka Jith is saying this is a great news coming in from our own. So your reactions to some of those comments right there.
In South Sudanese culture, chicken meat is kind of like a luxury. In some communities, chicken meat is a normal food. And for us in South Sudan, people think that, okay, having a chicken meal today is important. It's kind of like when you have a visitor coming, then you have a chicken meal and everything else. But it is easy for us to change that dynamic, to change that perception and make sure that, because the white meat is a more healthy meat. I myself now don't eat red meat because
Why?
Because I already have a disease that says, oh, you don't need to eat the red meat. So, because red meat has a lot of problems, and white meat, like chicken meat, is a healthy meat. And if we could go on to eat a lot of chicken meat, we will actually be more healthy than the way we are now in South Sudan. So, in terms of health, chicken meat is one of the most important diet that we need actually to do. It is not me who say that, it is a scientific proof. You can go everywhere, research it, you find that the chicken meat is, or the white meat in general, the healthy protein that human beings need to take, supported by protein meat, protein from the plant.
Tolfuk is saying what kind of challenges, I think he got us a little bit late. What kind of challenges are you facing in your poultry farm?
We are facing the challenge of hatchery system in South Sudan. There's none. We import the one-day-old chick from Uganda. The cost of transportation, long distance from Kampala to Juba, raising them here, there are so many numerous challenges. But the most challenge that we need to encounter, there are two things. We need to have hatchery system here in South Sudan. And then number two, we need to start producing our own feeds, so that we reduce the cost of transportation and the tax at the border. If we manage those ones, the rest of the challenges are just personal. You can just manage them, the farm and other stuff. So these are the main issues that we need to tackle us. And that's why I'm actually looking for other farmers to join hands with us and be able to form the union.
Nico is saying, do you import your chicken from Uganda or you hatch them here?
We import them from Uganda. I have 2 incubators that can hatch about 1,000, but getting the quality eggs in South Sudan is a very headache. You can't get them even in Uganda. So you have to go further than Africa to get those eggs.
Second last question, South Sudan is now crippling with issues of food insecurity, and how can poultry industry also contribute to the food security?
Poultry industry is a quick fix for the issue of food insecurity. You can have a chicken within about 45 days from the day it is being hatched to the day that it can be consumed. So, and it is a nutrition that you can actually add into the diet of the kids, the children, and it can reduce the malnutrition. So the only most important thing is for us to develop the industry, because it is non-existing. We don't have the poultry industry, so we need to start from scratch and be able to develop the industry. So it will contribute also in terms of alleviating the poverty. If you can sell actually 100 chickens a month as an individual, let me tell you, you will be better than somebody who has been teaching at Juba University. Then let me put it that way. A professor who is teaching now, and you are selling actually 100 a month, you will be better off. And you can sell 1,000 easily to the people if you manage to have that. And it's not actually huge capital. It doesn't need a lot of investment if you want to do it as an individual.
All right, let me first talk to my last caller for now. All right, this time we are looking forward to talk to one more last caller, and then we call it a show on 0911022986. You can get to us right here and ask that Chol Clay live if you have a question or comment to him, as he's one of the poultry farmer here in Juba. And his center, of course, he established it in that's Mangala. Fursa bes le mukhalama lo endak menken swal wale talika le cholkile de zaman nashen kef nina kaman be goful barnamij de lekin wasat zaman kaman ana bugul lo bukun fi risala al khas min cholkile de fursa nabu wadilo kaman. Is there any specific message you'd like to share with the public in regards to your business, and at the same time having also their hand in to fight the food insecurity in this country, as we are coming to the end of our conversation? Welcome.
Okay, thank you. We know that in South Sudan we have a lot of problems, and we import every food, maize, matoke, whatever you call them. And poultry also is one of the huge import that we bring in. And we South Sudanese, we need help to be able to establish our food supply chain, so that we don't bring every single food from outside. And if we do that, we will be able to have healthy population in South Sudan, because people normally are affected by disease because of the lack of nutrients in the body. So having chicken is a major factor that can actually support and reduce the malnutrition in South Sudan. So I encourage farmers to be able to help, to come together and be able to start producing chicken locally here, be able to come together as a group and talk more about how to change the life of our South Sudanese and be able to generate income.
All right. Thank you so much, Chol Kilei, for your time. Dear listener, with that we have come to the end of our conversation, and joining me live in the studio was Chol Kilei, and we took a closer look at the challenges facing South Sudan poultry industry, a sector that play a critical role in improving nutrition and food security across South Sudan. Thank you all for asking those good questions, and at the same time for listening.
إحنا كلنا جنوبيين سودانيين، ما مهم منو جاي من وين. إحنا محتاجين نحترم بعض وندعم بعض، لأنه إحنا واحد. إحنا كلنا بشر كسودانيين جنوبيين، بنستحق عشان نعيش بالسلام، نستحمل بعض ونصالح خلافاتنا ونعيش بالسلام.